You're gonna walk away like this! Look at me!
I can't do this anymore.
After everything you ruined today and you think you can just leave, take a good look at what you threw away. That's right. Crap.
Get her out of here. Now. The door slammed. The rain fell harder. Amina stood alone on the driveway of the estate that had pretended to welcome her. No explanations. No compassion. Just the cold sting of prejudice wrapped in wealth. Staff members hesitated, unsure whether to obey or defend her. Then the sound came, a deep, thunderous engine echoing up the driveway, a black limousine. And the man stepping out would change everything they thought they controlled. This is the untold story of the wife they tried to erase till the truth arrived at their door. Welcome, story lovers. From where are you watching? Hit the like button and drop your city name in the comments, so we can see how far our story travels. Amina had always believed that kindness was a currency, one that never ran out, one that multiplied the more it was given. Growing up in a quiet southern town, she had learned early how to navigate the world as a Black woman, how to soften her presence just enough to avoid trouble, but never enough to lose herself. By the time she moved to the city for college, she carried her resilience like a second skin, a shield she no longer questioned, only strengthened. Her life changed when she met Daniel. He was warm, thoughtful, steady. Adopted as a baby, he had grown up in a wealthy white family that prized refinement, etiquette, and reputation above all else. Daniel was different from them, gentler, more open, hungry for understanding beyond the manicured lawns of his upbringing. Amina didn't fall for his wealth or his name. She fell for his calm gentleness and the way he listened without rushing to defend the world he grew up in. When they married, she expected some shift awkwardness, maybe hesitation from his adoptive family. But what she didn't expect was the cold distance they cloaked themselves in. They weren't openly cruel. It was more subtle. Her hair was interesting. Her voice was strong. Her success was impressive for someone like you. Amina recognized the signs she had lived long enough to decode prejudice dressed up as politeness. Still, she stayed gracious, believing time would melt the edges. Daniel tried to reassure her, insisting that his parents just needed time. But every visit to their sunlit estate felt like she was stepping into a world that had already decided who she was without ever asking. The tension wasn't enough to disrupt their marriage, but it lingered like static in the background, harmless, until the wrong moment amplified it into something dangerous. Amina didn't know it yet, but a single visit to that same estate would shatter the fragile piece she had been holding together. And when the storm finally broke, she would learn exactly how far prejudice could reach and who Daniel truly was beneath the quiet warmth. She loved it started the moment she stepped out of the rideshare and onto the curved driveway of the Caldwell estate. The house seemed to loom taller than usual, its towering windows reflecting a gray sky. Amina had arrived alone. Daniel was flying in from a business trip and would meet her later. She clutched a small gift bag, something thoughtful she had chosen for his mother, and walked toward the front door, reminding herself to breathe. But the moment it opened, she felt Eton energy sharpened by something unspoken. Daniel's mother gave a tight smile, the kind that strained at the corners without reaching her eyes. His father didn't smile at all. Only his sister offered a nod, cool and distant. Inside, the estate was immaculate as always, but today there was a charged silence beneath the surface. Amina tried to keep the atmosphere light, asking about their lives, their plans, anything to break the stiffness. But every answer felt clipped. Every glance carried weight. Every pause stretched a little too long. She finally asked if something was wrong. That was the moment everything snapped. His mother inhaled sharply, as if clearing her throat before delivering a verdict. His father folded his hands, his gaze severe. They informed in crisp, measured tones that she was no longer welcome in their home. Not as a guest. Not as Daniel's wife. They claimed they had proof that she had only married Daniel for his wealth, that she had been manipulating him, taking advantage of their generosity. A lie manufactured, shaped, and sharpened. Amina felt the room tilt. She asked to see this supposed proof. Instead, they demanded she leave immediately. His sister stepped closer, her arms folded, her expression icy enough to stop any argument. Then came the final blow. We knew from the beginning someone like you wouldn't belong here. Someone like you? The words sliced deeper than any fabricated accusation. Amina felt her throat tighten, but she refused to let them see her break. She asked again to wait for Daniel to explain herself, to at least have a moment of fairness. But fairness had never been part of the equation. When she refused to walk out voluntarily, they escalated. The staff people she had greeted with kindness during every visit were instructed to escort her off the property. She watched the shame flicker across their faces, but they followed orders. She couldn't blame them. She stepped outside under a sky that had begun to drizzle. Standing alone in the vast driveway, her dignity wrapped around her like a fragile cloak. The front door closed behind her with a cold finality. Minutes later, her phone buzzed Daniel, texting that he had landed and was on his way from the airport. She swallowed her anger, her humiliation, her fear. She didn't want to burden him as he drove. She simply told him she'd wait outside the estate. But what she didn't know, what none of them knew, was that Daniel had discovered something on his flight that would change everything. And he wasn't coming in a taxi. He wasn't coming quietly. He was coming prepared. The drizzle turned into a steady rain as Amina stood at the edge of the driveway, unsure whether to feel numb or furious. Her clothes clung to her skin, but she refused to take shelter. She wasn't going to step back inside a house that had just spit her out. Then she heard a low rumble vibrating through the pavement. A sleek black limousine turned the corner, gliding up the drive like a shadow cutting through the storm. The car stopped inches from her, its presence commanding, unignorable. The door opened and Daniel stepped out. But this wasn't the gentle, relaxed Daniel she knew. His posture was rigid, eyes blazing with a fury she had never seen. In one hand, he held a stack of documents. In the other, his phone, screen lit with messages and audio files. Evidence. He walked right past Amina, toward the house. His parents burst out the door, startled by the limousine, their expressions shifting from annoyance to unease. Daniel didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. His words cut through the air as he exposed everything: the forged messages, the manipulated bank statements, the fabricated red flags, all created by someone inside the family. They had tried to destroy his marriage. And Daniel had proof. His mother paled. His father stiffened. His sister stepped back, realizing the gravity of what had been uncovered. And then, with the rain pouring down, Daniel delivered the final bluff, one decision that would change the family forever. Dear audience, where are you watching from? Drop your city name in the comments. The truth hit the family like a storm they never saw coming. For years, they had hidden behind polished reputations and curated perfection. But now the facade was crumbling, exposed, not by outsiders, but by their own prejudice. Daniel didn't yell. He simply laid out the truth, piece by piece, letting the weight of the evidence speak for itself. And with every detail he revealed, their silence became more suffocating. Amina stood quietly behind him, rain streaking down her face but not mixing with tears. She wasn't crying. Not anymore. She had spent a lifetime proving her worth to people who judged her before she even opened her mouth. But today, she realized she didn't need their acceptance. She had her dignity, her truth, and a partner who was willing to stand in the storm beside her. Daniel took her hand and led her to the limousine. He didn't look back, not even once. And as the estate disappeared behind them, Amina felt something loosen inside her. Not closure exactly, but clarity. The lesson was harsh, but real. Sometimes the people who claim to love you will still weaponize your identity the moment it challenges their comfort. Their story went on. Not defined by that day, but transformed by it. And as Amina reflected on all she had endured, she wondered how many others face storms like hers with no one to stand beside them. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more powerful stories and new videos. What would you have done in her place?